First of all, I just want to talk a little bit about BYOD. So this is another acronym. Like we don't have enough acronyms already. The term is really bring your own device. But there's a broader scope to this. It's really about bring your own technology. So in some of the presentations today, we're really going to talk about what this means. So for years, I think we've all been familiar with the standard IT service delivery model. You get hired for a company, you go in, you take minimal training, they give you a computer with a base image, and you have a bunch of IT services that make sure that everything's delivered on time, so you can do what you need to do to look after your particular business. But times are changed, so we think there's some other factors that are changing the way that this delivery model is being executed. So some of the things that I'm going to talk about today are cloud, ubiquitous internet, a new tech-savvy generation, and the onset of consumer devices. We think that these are all very important waves that are going to reshape the future of the way that manufacturing will operate using technology. So just a little bit about the cloud. Cloud computing, the term's been around now for about 5 or 6 years. So I just really want to talk about what this means. So cloud computing is really, there's 4 main characteristics. So really it's pooled resources, the availability of virtualized applications in an infrastructure environment that can be rapidly provisioned to meet your needs, whether it be an application or software delivery platform. Self-service. These IT services, whether it be a platform, software application, these things are available on demand. And a lot of the steps that are normal for deploying an application in your facility, a lot of these steps now can be avoided because procurement and acquisition of IT assets are now out of the loop. So self-service activities, basically you develop a service level agreement with a cloud system provider. Your application can be up and running in minimal time. Elasticity is described, or is a term that describes the way that the resources are made available. So what happens is in cloud, there's so much scale and availability of resources that in order to meet your demand, you can rapidly add services and infrastructure to your platforms. And these things are usage-based, so you only pay for what you need. You're not investing upfront in IT infrastructure when perhaps that you don't need it. And you don't have to worry about the capital cost outlay that goes along with acquiring infrastructure. So some of the applications that we know already are going to cloud, enterprise asset management, ERP systems. There's at least a dozen ERP systems that are now available in both shared public formats and also public or private environments. Manufacturing execution systems are available on demand, paid for by a monthly fee. Many SCADA systems and distributed infrastructure where it's hard to deploy server-based technology and client-server applications. These things are now starting to utilize cloud services. And the most recent news, we actually talked about this at the forum, was process historians are now starting to utilize cloud services with providers like Microsoft Azure. So both OSI and Invensys have announced projects, and they have several customers that are taking process information networks in a tiered format up to the cloud. But the ultimate goal here is to make it easy to access these devices. So the second wave that's driving this phenomenon called bring your own technology is ubiquitous internet. So internet came about in, I would say, probably the mid-90s, and I don't think anybody looked back. So everywhere from, we started off with wireless LANs and WANs in our plant. We started introducing broadband networks, and because of connectivity, that brought about a whole bunch of extra services. Refineries now are connecting remote assets to service providers to provide maintenance capabilities. Security systems, where it's difficult to wire physically copper connections, are starting to use wireless and services like 3G. Wind farms, large distributed assets like pipelines, solar farms, smart meters. These are all services that are starting to leverage internet capabilities. Supply chain management, tracking containers to provide on-time shipments, mobile employees, GPS, and a variety of other devices that are all being connected. So I want to talk a little bit about the third wave. So these are the new generation that's coming into your workforce. So these are the 18 to 29-year-olds that we're calling the always connected generation. So many of these folks are being defined by their gadgets, and the current generation of the boomers and the Generation Xers that are running most manufacturing facilities today, I think we're still wrestling how to define them and how to figure out how they fit into our workforce. I do want to say that some research shows that we should be careful not to define these millennials too quickly, and some studies even show that these millennials are not as devoted to companies as the previous generations. They've been called lazy. One of the things that research shows about millennials is that they've been raised by Generation Xers. And Generation Xers, because of the way that they've been raised, they've tended to involve them. So the millennial or the connected generation has been overscheduled in many cases. So this overscheduling of people, they actually may be the future project managers of our new generation. But one thing about millennials is they don't mind sharing information. They are very social, and they don't worry about Big Brother watching them. But one of the most important things is they're going to be our future in manufacturing. Experimental learning is another common theme with many millennials. Google is there. They're used to getting information quickly, and the expectation is that information will flow quickly to these new people. Other studies show that technology is important to millennials, and when they're looking for their next job after they've got their first degrees and their MBAs, technology will be an important consideration when they go to work for the next manufacturing facility. So they may look at culture, salary, overall benefits, but I think that they're also going to look at what the IT kit is available to them when they go and start with a new company. This is the 15th century rendition of the Vitruvian Man. The purpose of this drawing was Leonardo da Vinci actually figured out that early drawings of human beings had disproportionate appendages. So the combination of the circle and the square were designed so that any future artwork would actually have the right size of arms and legs. So this is a really neat rendition that I found that sort of describes where we think we're going. And if Leonardo was alive today and making a painting, he might actually draw something like this with the Vitruvian Man, actually with a smartphone in his hands. So this is the fourth wave. This is the consumer smartphone. So consumer smartphones seem to have an interesting effect on people today. They have an emotional effect. And if you walk into a Best Buy or an Apple store and you see what people are like with these new gadgets, you know, this is an example of a tablet. I tend to carry one of these with me everywhere, and I know that gadgets are being very important to people. This new wave of consumer devices is being as important and personal as your next pair of shoes that you buy. So one of the things that's important with technology and connectivity with employees is going to be choice. You know, can I use the Microsoft tablet? Can I use the Android-based phone? Can I use the Apple device? And I think what we're starting to find is the answer is yes. So we already know that the smartphone, the traffic that's going to these devices is already surpassing the PC market. And I think that a recent survey of these devices showed that there was 5 billion cell phone subscriptions on this planet, and I think we're at 7 billion human beings. So this is a really big deal. Mobile traffic now exceeds the wired, the information that's coming from the LAN. This is partially due to streaming video and other social technologies, but the fact remains that internet traffic is now more than wired. Because of these connected devices, the tech-savvy generation, the ease of getting applications, the lines between home office are now blurring. So now we're becoming ever connected, and it's really easy to answer that quick email on your mobile device, or if you're using a PC and you're at home, and the connection is easy and there's not a hassle, and using several different layers of authentication because of security. Now employees are actually starting to work more throughout the evening, during their commute or other times. Location independence. Now, of course, we know that operations and maintenance people generally need to do a job inside a facility, and you can't replace them. But so many other employees now are becoming location independent. So whether you're in a home office, whether you're in a supply chain role, whether you're in a marketing role and you're with a customer, or even a sales force, now you can conduct your business in many cases on a mobile device just as easily in Starbucks as you can the corporate office. So the other thing that's happening now is employees are wanting a say in how they connect. So because the lines are blurring, employees are willing to make a difference after hours, but they're also wanting a say in how this happens. And the other thing that's happening is because of smartphone devices, it's getting easier and easier to get access to a multitude of applications. Where smartphones started off providing simple services like email and access to the internet, now we can download apps from whatever app store at a very low cost, and these things just happen. So people that use these devices, the expectation is that applications happen instantly, and they don't put in a credit card, wait for a reseller to ship the disks and do an install on their PC. Everything happens over the internet. So I just wanted to just finish up because we've got some really good speakers and I want to be sensitive to your time. This is a little device that I found because some of the questions that we get when we actually talk about bring your own technology to the device, people say, well, it can't happen in the plant. So this is a device that is by HCL Technologies, and over here on the left you can see this is either a maintenance technician or an operator in an operator-driven reliability program who's using a tablet PC and a sealed enclosure that makes that device area classified. So in this particular case, there's a little dongle assembly that plugs into a consumer smartphone, and that consumer smartphone can be given or provided by the company, or perhaps it's a bring your own device where this employee already owned the device. So in this case, this is a vibration inspection and an analysis of what's happening with this particular rotating equipment. And this device here encapsulates the non-area classified device to make it usable in the plant. And in this case, with HCL Technologies, they're uploading the information in a cloud so it can be available by multiple persons. So really, I just wanted to say that consumer devices we think are coming, and this is not just about supply chain and IT and back office and engineers. We think that there's applications here in the plant as well. And one of the things that I think that we're going to be able to talk about in this session are things around security and cost and what this looks like. So that's it.